Welcome to the History in Focus channel. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss more videos like this one. Among the many witnesses to the assassination of John F. Kennedy in 1963, one woman stood out. Wearing a headscarf and holding a camera, she remained at the scene while others ran in panic. Since she was never identified, she was nicknamed Lady Babushka, a reference to Russian women who wore similar attire. Her presence became one of the mysteries surrounding the case. Various images and videos of the scene show Lady Babushka in a privileged position, close to where the president was shot. Unlike most people who reacted in shock, she appeared calm while recording everything with her camera. Investigators attempted to locate her, hoping her footage would provide new clues about the crime, but they never found any evidence of her whereabouts. The identity of the woman was never discovered, fueling theories about her possible connection to the case. Some speculate that she might have had information about the shooter, Lee Harvey Oswald, who was accused of killing Kennedy and arrested the same day. Before he could testify, Oswald was killed by Jack Ruby, leaving many questions unanswered. This Boeing 727 landed in Seattle after being hijacked on November 24, 1971. A man identifying himself as D.B. Cooper boarded the flight from Portland to Seattle. During the flight, he demanded $200,000 and parachutes. After receiving the ransom and releasing the hostages, he ordered the plane to take off again before jumping mid-flight, disappearing without a trace. The composite sketch shows D.B. Cooper, whose real name was never discovered. The FBI concluded that he had experience in aviation and parachuting, along with extensive technical knowledge of the Boeing 727. In 1967, Stefan Michalak was taken to the hospital after suffering strange burns on his chest and stomach. Over time, the injuries formed a grid-like pattern, similar to what he described seeing on a mysterious craft. He claimed he was struck by a burst of heat while approaching the object in a clearing at Falcon Lake, Canada. Stefan Michalak's sketch shows the shape of the craft he claimed to have encountered. According to his account, the metallic object emitted intense light and a high-pitched sound. He noticed an opening on the side, and as he approached, he felt intense heat before being hit by a blast of hot air that knocked him down. A piece of radioactive metal was recovered from the site of the incident in 1968, stuck in cracks in a rock. The material was analyzed and showed unusual levels of radiation. The Falcon Lake case remains one of the most well-documented accounts of an alleged UFO encounter in Canada. The USS Cyclops, a U.S. Navy coal transport ship, mysteriously disappeared in March 1918 with 306 crew members aboard while sailing through the Bermuda Triangle. No wreckage was ever found, and no distress signal was sent. To this day, it remains the largest non-combat loss of life in U.S. Navy history. Investigators examined the tent at Dyatlov Pass in the Ural Mountains, Russia, where 9 hikers mysteriously died in 1959. The tent was cut open from the inside, suggesting a hasty escape. The body showed unexplained injuries, including fractures and radiation. Theories range from secret military tests to encounters with unknown creatures. To this day, the case remains without a definitive explanation. Michael Meehan and James Courtney were sailors aboard the SS Watertown, a cargo ship bound for New York in 1924. While cleaning a tank, a gas leak led to their deaths. Following the tradition of the time, their bodies were cast into the sea, while the crew continued the voyage, unaware that the two would soon be seen again in an unexpected way. In the following days, crew members began reporting something strange. The faces of Meehan and Courtney seemed to appear on the ocean's surface, always following the ship. The apparitions became so frequent that Captain Keith Tracy ordered them to be photographed. The result was this image, leaving the question open. Was it simply an illusion or something beyond rational explanation? Inside these rusty cans, a California couple made a surprising discovery: more than 1,400 gold coins from the 19th century. The find, known as the Saddle Ridge Hoard, is one of the largest ever found in the United States. The first coins were auctioned in San Francisco, sparking curiosity about their origin and why they were buried. Jesse James, the infamous outlaw of the Old West, is one of the names linked to the mystery. Some theories suggest he hid this gold to fund a second civil war. Others believe the coins may have come from a bank robbery or belonged to a collector. To this day, the true origin of this treasure remains unknown. A crowd watches the phenomenon known as the Miracle of the Sun, which occurred on October 13, 1917, during the apparitions of Our Lady of Fatima in Portugal. Witnesses reported that the sun appeared to spin, change colors, and move in unusual patterns. Around 70,000 people, including journalists and skeptics, witnessed the event. To this day, there is no definitive scientific explanation for what happened. This 1642 engraving depicts people affected by the mysterious dancing plague that struck Strasbourg, Alsace, in 1518. Without explanation, more than 400 people began dancing uncontrollably, some to the point of exhaustion or even death from heart attacks. The cause of this bizarre outbreak was never clarified, making it one of history's most enigmatic phenomena. The disappearance of the Angikuni people is one of the greatest mysteries of the Arctic. In 1930, Canadian trapper Joe LaBelle arrived at the Inuit village on the shores of Angikuni Lake and found no inhabitants. There were no footprints in the snow, no sled dogs, nothing. It was as if everyone had vanished without a trace. Checking the huts, LaBelle found clothes and food left behind, making the sudden disappearance even stranger. The supplies were enough for the winter, but they were untouched. Some reports mentioned strange lights in the sky before the disappearance, but no concrete evidence was ever found. To this day, the fate of the Angikuni villagers remains unknown. The merchant ship Joyita was found adrift in the South Pacific in 1955, completely empty. None of the 25 crew members were aboard, despite the vessel not being fully submerged and supplies still intact. There were no signs of struggle or emergency. To this day, no one knows what happened, making it one of maritime history's greatest mysteries. This 1941 photo, taken at the reopening of South Fork Bridge in British Columbia, Canada, is one of the most famous images linked to alleged time travelers. Among the crowd, a man stands out for his modern clothing, sunglasses, and a portable camera. The image has fueled debates, but experts point out that his clothes and accessories, while unusual, did exist at the time. Thomas Marshall, James Duckett, and Donald MacArthur were the three lighthouse keepers stationed at the remote Flannan Isles off the coast of Scotland. In December 1900, they vanished without a trace. When the rescue team arrived, they found the door locked, the table set for a meal, and the clock stopped. Reports mentioned storms, but the true cause of their disappearance remains unknown. Eloise Verborn with her lovers, Robert Philipson and Rudolph Lorenz, on Floriana Island, Galapagos, in 1930. Shortly after, she and Philipson vanished without a trace. Fearing for his life, Lorenz fled with a fisherman but died at sea and was found mummified on a nearby island. To this day, the fate of Eloise and the events leading to these deaths remain unexplained. The X marks the spot where an unidentified man was found dead on Somerton Beach, Australia, on December 1, 1948. Well-dressed and carrying no identification, he had a small scrap of paper in his pocket with the words Tamam Shud, meaning ended in Persian. The search for answers led investigators to the book Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. On the back cover of the book, from which the final page with Tamam Shud had been torn, a handwritten code was found, along with a mysterious phone number. The connection between these elements and the dead man was never clarified, turning the case into one of the greatest unsolved criminal mysteries. Bermeja appeared on maps for centuries as an island north of the Yucatan Peninsula, but when searched for in the 20th century, nothing was found. Interest grew when it was realized that its existence would affect rights over oil reserves in the Gulf of Mexico. Expeditions found no trace of the island, and to this day, no one has been able to prove whether it ever existed. Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker from Mississippi claimed to have been abducted by aliens while fishing in 1973. They described 3 beings with claw-like hands that took them aboard a spacecraft for examinations. After the incident, they reported the event to the police and underwent tests that indicated genuine stress, making their case one of the most intriguing in ufology. Inside this jar are preserved fragments from one of the most bizarre events ever recorded, the Kentucky meat shower, which occurred in 1876. On that day, pieces of meat rained from the sky over a farm in Bath County. Tests suggested they were lung and muscle tissues, but the origin of the phenomenon remains unknown. Taken from a laboratory window by a 21-year-old bodyguard, this photo captures 4 bright lights in the sky over Salem, Massachusetts on August 3, 1952. The objects remained visible for a few moments before disappearing. The incident occurred during a wave of UFO sightings in the United States, and to this day, the origin of the objects remains unknown. This photo was taken in 1975 when Diane and Peter Berthelot were visiting Worstead Church in northern England. Diane was sitting in prayer when Peter took the picture. Later, when developing the film, they noticed a whitish figure sitting behind her. Locals believe it to be the spirit of the White Lady of Worstead, a church legend associated with healing and protection. This photo, published in Los Angeles newspapers in 1942, shows the so-called Battle of Los Angeles. In the early hours of February 25th, air raid sirens blared, and searchlights illuminated an object in the sky, prompting military forces to fire over 1,400 anti-aircraft rounds. No enemy aircraft were found afterward. The government claimed it was a false alarm caused by wartime anxiety. In 2011, Swedish divers discovered a 230-foot wide circular formation on the bottom of the Baltic Sea. The sonar image showed a structure with symmetrical shapes, sparking speculation about an alien craft or an ancient artifact. Electronic equipment failed near the site, adding to the mystery. Scientists suggest it may be a geological formation, but the debate continues. The Amityville poltergeist photo, taken in 1976, captured the image of a boy with glowing eyes on the upper floor of the house. The chilling detail? No children were present at the time. The photo was taken by an automatic camera during a paranormal investigation. Many believe it to be the spirit of John Matthew DeFeo, one of the victims of the 1974 murders in the house. Flight 19 was a formation of 5 U.S. Navy Grumman TBF Avenger planes that disappeared during a training exercise off the coast of Florida on December 5, 1945. The pilots reported compass failures before losing contact, and a rescue plane sent to search for them also vanished. The case, still unexplained, was one of the first to fuel the Bermuda Triangle legend. The Tunguska event, which occurred on June 30, 1908, was an explosion over Siberia that flattened 80 million trees across 770 square miles. The impact was so strong that it was detected at seismic stations worldwide. It is believed that an asteroid or comet exploded in the air before reaching the ground, as no crater was found, making the event one of science's greatest mysteries. This is the famous photograph of the Tulip Staircase, located in the Queen's House of the National Maritime Museum in Greenwich, England. Taken in 1966 by Reverend Ralph Hardy, the image appears to show a spectral figure gripping the handrail. Experts analyzed the photo and found no signs of tampering, making it one of the most famous ghostly photographs ever recorded. In 1963, Reverend K.F. Lord took this photo inside Newby Church in North Yorkshire, capturing a hooded figure beside the altar. The apparition, resembling a mask from the Black Plague era, raised many questions. The photo was examined by experts who found no evidence of tampering, further deepening the mystery surrounding the location. Oumuamua was the first interstellar object detected passing through the solar system in 2017. Unlike any known asteroid or comet, it had an unusual elongated shape and left no trace of gas or dust. Its unexpected acceleration without explanation led to speculation about its origin, ranging from a fragment of an exoplanet to the possibility of it being an alien probe. This 1950 photo shows 5 circular objects in the sky, sparking theories about flying saucers. Witnesses claimed the objects moved in formation and vanished suddenly. Some believe they were UFOs, while others suggest weather balloons or photographic anomalies. Amelia Earhart was piloting a Lockheed Electra when she disappeared in 1937 during an attempt to fly around the world. Her last communication indicated difficulties locating Howland Island in the Pacific. Despite numerous searches, no confirmed trace of the pilot or her aircraft was ever found, making her disappearance one of aviation's greatest mysteries. This is the last photograph of George Mallory left and Andrew Irvin right, taken on June 6, 1924, on Mount Everest's north slope. A few hours later, the 2 climbers disappeared while attempting to reach the summit. Mallory's body was found in 1999, but with no clear evidence that they reached the top, the mystery of their achievement remains. Taken in 1936, this photo is one of the most famous ghostly images ever captured. Known as the Brown Lady, the apparition was photographed on the staircase of Rainham Hall, England. The spectral figure appears to be descending the steps, shrouded in a misty veil, fueling legends of hauntings at the location and intriguing researchers to this day. William Wallace, after his appeal hearing, which overturned his conviction for the murder of his wife, Julia Wallace, in Liverpool in 1931. On the day of the crime, he received an anonymous message instructing him to go to a non-existent address. When he returned home, he found Julia dead. To this day, no one knows why she was killed, who sent the message, or if Wallace was involved. Jerome, the legless man of Baie Sainte Marie, was found in 1863 by fishermen off the coast of Nova Scotia, Canada. He did not speak and communicated only through gestures, never revealing his identity. Since no one knew his name, a local resident named him Jerome. He lived under the community's care for decades until his death in 1912, without his past ever being discovered. Released by the Amalgamated Flying Saucer Club of America, this photo, taken on June 16, 1963, supposedly shows a flying saucer. The photographer, a club member, claimed to have captured the object in the sky unexpectedly. Although there is no official confirmation of its authenticity, the image became part of the growing interest in UFOs in the 1960s. This long exposure photograph was taken in the Combermere Abbey Library and shows a shadowy figure sitting in a chair. The most intriguing detail is that the image was captured in 1891 at the exact moment the funeral of Viscount Combermere was taking place. Many believe the figure to be his spirit returning to the library. The photo has been analyzed, and no definitive explanation has been given. The Hollandwell Showground incident, which occurred on July 13, 1980, involved the mass fainting of hundreds of children during an event in Derbyshire, England. The victims, all between 11 and 15 years old, suddenly collapsed while watching a performance. The cause of the fainting was never explained, leading to various theories, including gas poisoning, mass hysteria, and even radiation. Hinterkaifeck Farm, seen in this April 1922 photo, was the site of one of Germany's most puzzling crimes. 6 members of the Gruber family were murdered with a mattock. Days earlier, mysterious footprints appeared in the snow, and strange noises were heard in the attic. After the crime, the killer stayed at the farm for days, tending to the animals and lighting the fireplace, but was never found. In 1920, Swiss geologist François Deloy captured this image in the Venezuelan jungle, showing a primate of unusual size and upright posture, resting on a crate. The photograph sparked debates. Some suggested it depicted an unknown species, while others argued it was simply a common spider monkey. While reviewing data from the Big Ear radio telescope in 1977, astronomer Jerry R. Amon circled an anomalous sequence and wrote "Wow" beside it. The signal lasted 72 seconds and had unusual intensity and frequency, suggesting a possible extraterrestrial transmission. Its origin did not match any known natural phenomena, making it one of the greatest mysteries in radio astronomy. The Phaistos disk remains an undeciphered mystery. Made of clay during the Bronze Age, it was found on the island of Crete in 1908. Its surface is covered with unknown symbols arranged in a spiral. Some theorists believe it to be a board game, while others think it is a prayer to the fertility goddess. Harold Edward Holt, the 17th Prime Minister of Australia, disappeared in 1967. Passionate about spearfishing, he stopped at Cheviot Beach for a swim with friends, but was swept away by the sea and never seen again. His body was never found, fueling conspiracy theories, including claims that he fled with the help of a Chinese submarine, or was the target of a secret operation. Hidden within a brick wall in a Chicago suburb, the 1916 Traub motorcycle was discovered 40 years ago and remains a mystery. Featuring engineering far ahead of its time, there are no records of its production or its creator. Its unique design and custom-made parts suggest it was built as a one-of-a-kind machine, but its origins remain unexplained. On May 11, 1950, farmer Paul Trent captured this image of a supposed flying saucer over his farm in McMinnville, Oregon. The metallic object hovered in the sky before disappearing. The photo quickly became one of the most famous in ufology, analyzed by experts who were never able to prove it was a hoax. Guy B. Marquand Jr. took this photograph in Riverside, California, claiming the object in the sky was a flying saucer. He and two friends saw the object pass quickly, and when it returned, he managed to capture the image. The photo was taken on November 23, 1951, and to this day, there is no definitive explanation for what was seen. This mysterious light was photographed on October 16, 1957, when it hovered for 15 minutes near the Holloman Air Development Center in New Mexico. Witnesses reported that the object emitted an intense glow before vanishing over the horizon. The air base was known for secret military tests, but no official explanation was given for the phenomenon. This photo, taken in March 1966, was released by Civil Defense Director William Van Horn from Hillsdale County, Michigan. The image was part of a report challenging the U.S. Air Force's explanation that UFO sightings in the region were caused by swamp gas. Van Horn argued that the weather conditions, with strong winds, made that explanation unlikely. A student from New Mexico State University captured this image while photographing land formations for a geology class. He claimed that the spherical object in the sky was a UFO, appearing unexpectedly over the rocky landscape. The photo was taken on March 12, 1967, and there is still no official explanation for what was captured. This photo is one of 4 taken by Rex Heflin on August 3, 1965, near Santa Ana, California. He claimed to have seen a disc-shaped object crossing the sky while on duty and quickly captured the images with his Polaroid camera. The photos divided experts, with some believing in their authenticity and others suspecting a hoax. These strange spherical formations on the Martian surface were recorded by the Opportunity rover in 2004 and nicknamed Martian blueberries. In 2012, the rover captured an even more intriguing image showing larger and more abundant spheres. Scientists believe they are composed of hematite, a mineral associated with water, but their true origin remains a mystery. In December 2021, Taiwanese researcher Scott Waring identified an unusual formation in an image of the Martian surface. He suggested the structure resembled a crashed UFO with a long trail indicating a possible impact. Scientists argue that it is likely just a landslide caused by natural processes, but the discovery still fuels speculation. Rodney Marks was an Australian astrophysicist working at Amundsen Scott Station in Antarctica. In May 2000, he suddenly fell ill and died 36 hours later from severe symptoms. An autopsy revealed methanol poisoning, but the source of the substance was never determined. It remains unknown whether the ingestion was accidental or if he was poisoned by someone at the station. The Hessdalen lights are a mysterious phenomenon observed since the 1930s in Hessdalen Valley, Norway. They appear in various colors, floating in the sky or moving quickly before vanishing. Scientists have recorded and analyzed the lights, but their origin remains uncertain. Theories range from ionized gases to geological activity and even unknown technology. USA. Today, on June 18, 1997, published this illustration about the Phoenix Lights, one of the most famous UFO sightings in the United States. On the night of March 13, 1997, thousands of people in Arizona reported seeing a massive V-shaped formation crossing the sky. The government claimed they were military flares, but many still believe it was something extraterrestrial. The oval-shaped Winnipesaukee stone, discovered in the 19th century near Lake Winnipesaukee, New Hampshire, continues to puzzle researchers. Engraved with symbols that do not match any known local culture, its origin and purpose remain a mystery. Some theories suggest it could be a Native American artifact, a commemorative marker, or something even older and unknown. The Nazca lines in Peru are massive geoglyphs created over 2,000 years ago by the Nazca civilization. They depict animals, plants, and geometric shapes, some spanning hundreds of feet. Since they can only be fully seen from above, some theories suggest they were created for communication with extraterrestrials or even as landing strips for alien crafts. Their true purpose remains a mystery. A massive creature rested beneath the shallow waters of Stonehaven Bay, Hook Island, Australia. The sighting was recorded by French filmmaker and photographer Robert Le Sirec and his wife during an exploration in 1964. The couple was intrigued when they saw what appeared to be a giant tadpole lying motionless on the ocean floor. Estimating the creature to be about 65 feet long, they cautiously approached, believing it to be dead. Suddenly, the enormous being began to move, startling the couple, who retreated to their boat. The creature swam away and was never seen again. The photo taken by Mabel Chinnery in 1959 shows her husband sitting in the car, but something eerie appears in the back seat. The silhouette of a woman. The chilling detail? They had just visited Mabel's mother's grave, and she recognized the figure as her. The image became one of the most famous ghost photographs, puzzling researchers ever since. The Satyr Square is a riddle that has intrigued scholars for over 150 years. This Latin palindrome, found in ancient Roman ruins, contains 5 words: satyr, arepo, tenet, opera, rotus, that can be read in multiple directions. Its exact meaning remains unknown, with theories suggesting it was an amulet, a puzzle, or even a secret Christian inscription. The Phobos monolith was discovered by the Mars Global Surveyor in 1998. This structure, located on Mars moon Phobos, has a rectangular shape and stands approximately 295 feet tall. Its origin remains uncertain, with theories suggesting it could be a rock block ejected by impact or even an artificial formation. This monolith was recorded by the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter on the surface of Mars. The structure measures approximately 16 feet tall and stands out due to its straight edges and rectangular shape. The lead masks found with Manuel Pereira de Cruz and Miguel José Viana are the most puzzling detail of the case that occurred in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in 1966. The two were wearing raincoats and carried a note with instructions to ingest capsules and wear the masks. With no signs of violence, theories range from rituals and poisoning to extraterrestrial encounters. Sandbyborg is a circular Viking-era fort located on the island of Öland, Sweden, and the site of one of the country's greatest archaeological mysteries. In the 5th century, its inhabitants were brutally massacred, and their bodies remained untouched for over 1,500 years. No signs of defense were found, and the attackers never returned to loot or occupy the fortress. This photograph was taken by Apollo 17 during its mission to the moon in December 1972. Officially listed as defective by NASA, the image was captured near the area known as Geophone Rock. Despite its graininess and exposure issues, the shape in the photo resembles a pyramid, raising doubts about what truly exists on the lunar surface.